Hello, and welcome to this mid-morning taste challenge. I have two Kentucky straight rye whiskeys with no age statement. Now, this is Knob Creek Kentucky straight rye whiskey, small batch, 100 proof, half-size bottle. Won an award here, saying in 2014. No, I usually buy the full-size bottles. I don't really like to buy the half-size, but a local store had these for $6.99, so I bought two halves to make a whole. So to get a full amount of Knob Creek rye for $13.98. That is something because usually it's running about $28.99. Somebody might have it on sale for $26.99. I doubt it. This has been replaced. So this is the 2012 to 2024 edition. It was replaced last year with some age stated versions. Okay. A 7-year and a 10-year, and there's some others. So that's why it was cheap, because they were trying to get rid of it, and I took advantage of it. I'd already tried it twice at my friend David's place, and I really liked it. So I knew I was going to like it. It was no chance. I wasn't taking a risk. Herbie on Wheels says good comparison. Thank you. So there it is. You can still find bottles of it around. I mean, I did, and that was only a few months ago during this year, 2025. So you probably have liquor stores by you that keep stuff on the shelves forever. I know we do, closer to New Orleans. You can find bottles from 30 years ago. I found one. It looks like it's from 30 years ago, but I'd have to double check that. But it does look very old. Okay, I'm moisturizing the cork. Sazerac Rye uses a real cork. See if we can get it to focus. Come on, you can do it. So there's the real cork. All right. Now I can get this, well, anywhere around here, but I can usually find it for $19.99 if I look. Not all the stores all the time, but if you check the sales pages in the newspaper or online, seem like every month a different store's doing their sale. I almost think they take turns, and they're secretly working together. But you very often see this discounted for $19.99. Now I've seen people online talking about they pay $50 for it. Oh, no, 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 no. No, 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 no. Not when I can get it for $19.99 very easily at Rouse's or Winn-Dixie. Usually not there. But Dorignax might run it for $19.99 one week. Canseco's, Zupardo's, Bromart. One of those will do it. You just got to kind of be cognizant of who's running the sale. And if you're that concerned about it, some people say, I just paid a regular price, $23.99. Fine. But $50? No, that's insanity. So they're both copper. Appearance doesn't matter. Sazerac Rye introduced in 2006, so 19 years ago. And Knob Creek 13 years ago. And but like I say, out of production, but they still have it. It's just a different, they got specific age stated one, so it's probably not that different. Knob Creek and Wild Turkey 101 are similar. Yeah, but one is from Campari USA, and the other one is from Beam Suntory Global Spirits, James B. Beam Distilling Company. So Sazerac Rye comes from New Orleans and Kentucky, mainly Kentucky. It's owned by the Sazerac Company. Their headquarters in New Orleans, and Knob Creek from Beam Company, headquartered, well, in Japan, but their subsidiary headquarters, of course, in Kentucky. Now, if you see a bottle of Sazerac Rye and it says Louisiana straight rye whiskey, buy it, because that's a rarity. They do distill it here. I've been to the distillery twice. They distill Sazerac Rye there. They'll take you on a tour. It's small. The man was describing how they make it and everything, but they said they send it to Kentucky to age it. But most of Sazerac Rye is produced in Kentucky, but there's a tiny little amount that's made in Louisiana. They may not sell those batches. They might just give it away as like gifts or promotional items. It may not even be sold. But if you ever do see a bottle that says Sazerac Rye, Louisiana Straight Rye Whiskey, New Orleans, Louisiana, yeah, you want to snatch that up. That'll be a rarity. Jaime Torres says, what are your 4th of July plans? To go to work. Rest in peace, my grandma, Amelia Torres. She passed on June 12, 2025. God bless her. I'm sorry about your loss. I pray for the people who have died every day. Every day. I pray for those who have died since the last time I prayed. All right, let's go. Most of whom I do not know. Oh, website listing. Here we go. I'll show you there is no Knob Creek website for this product because it's discontinued. So obviously there's no website. But Sazerac does show this. The one and only original. And you can read all that. They show a small photo. How they Sazerac Rye, Sazerac cocktail. They told me on the phone that they age it about 6 years. They said it's not specifically 6 years. She said, but I'm telling you, it's about 6 years. And you can take that how you want to take. Aroma, fragrance is fragrance of sweet vanilla, anise, and pepper. Flavor, taste has subtle notes of candy, spice, and citrus. The finish is smooth with hints of licorice. Yeah, I'll never pick that up. So they have different attributes with it you can read about. Yeah, very popular product. Many awards. Just last year, it won a gold at the Gold Award at the Global Whiskey Challenge, Whiskeys of the World Challenge, American Whiskey Masters Challenge, North American Bourbon and Whiskey Competition, Denver International Competition, the Ascot Awards, International Spirits Challenge, and that's just gold. I didn't even mention the silver. Okay, so it's a very popular product. Now they have to track it down. They can't get it easily. I don't know why, but they can't. If you live in Kentucky, well, yeah, it's easy to find. And if you live in the New Orleans area, there's no effort to find it. And like I say, if you wait around, you can get it for $19.99. You just wait for the sale. And nobody waits in line and tries to track it down here because you don't have to do that. Smells. This one smells pretty regular. Not smelling anything remotely remarkable. It's just like regular old rye whiskey. Same. Seems like it could be a little stronger. And if I detect heavier proof or more strength, I'm going to know it's the Knob Creek because it's 100 proof and the Sazerac Rye is 90 proof. So it's a 5% difference in alcohol, 10% in proof. But yeah, so aging, we don't know. They're both at least 4 years. I mean, the company told me on the telephone that it's about 6 years. So if they're telling you that, then you can kind of have an idea about it. Whew. Rye bread, which I said before in videos, it's hard to describe that if you've never had rye bread. If you've had it, you know the flavor. Bit unusual flavor, somewhat controversial. Some people can't stand the taste. Good morning here. What's up, Jay? Says D-Man. Well, I'm just doing this challenge. I'm not going to go too long. Got something else I want to do. Maybe it's 100 proof. Maybe. The body is a little heavy. Kind of a bold presentation. Let's go over here. Cheers. It's lighter body. Different flavor? Not really. A little bit different, not too much. Does Jim Beam have a house style? They do tend to have a house style, meaning, Knob Creek's part of their empire. Sazerac / Buffalo Trace products, they tend to have a house style. But I'm not finding that these two are particularly different. Not very. Who's your favorite NBA team? Well, of course, living only 31 miles from their arena, it would be the New Orleans Pelicans, formerly known as New Orleans Hornets. Um, like I said, 31 miles from this house to that house to their house, which they call the Blender because it's sponsored by uh, um, Smoothie King, the Smoothie King Arena, Smoothie King Center. So they call it the Blender. I've never had a smoothie, but people like them. Does Sazerac Rye have a strong floral taste? I've noticed that with other ryes, says Tom, or asks Tom. Yeah, I think you could say that. I hadn't thought of that, really, that character flowers. I believe the website said something about that. But like I said, I read the tasting and aroma notes, and I never can remember them. I just get the mint, the rye, the pepper, but not so much pepper on this one, and then flowers, like you say, floral flowers. Yeah, okay. Pourquoi the flowers? Bolder, heavier, stronger, bigger, stronger, faster. Knob Creek. Unfortunately, that's the Sazerac Rye. Okay, so that's shocking. Yeah. Okay. Hmm. Did I screw up again like last night? You see, what confuses me is I know Sazerac Rye came out before, so then I'll start thinking it's the main product because I got these labeled the main and the competitor, M for main and the competitor. But I'm so dim-witted in some ways, so absent-minded. Yikes! I don't want to waste this stuff, but I'm going to pour it again because it's definitely got floral and there's a honey note. And I know that Knob Creek does not have any kind of honey note. No, I don't recall any. I'm trying to nurse this bottle. I'm undermining my whole program because I'm not going to buy any more of it. I've got enough, and this is my second bottle, so I'm not going to just keep buying this product. It's hazy. Now, I noticed one thing about Sazerac products, especially when you get to the bottom of their whiskey bottles, it'll be so hazy, cloudy, even full of gunk. It's like there's sediment. They're not totally filtered. And over the years, when you have the bottle, the sediment just, I hate to say, like coagulates and sinks to the bottom. That may not please some people. In Denver, we have Ball Arena, named after Ball glass, like mason jars. Oh, yeah, that's very common. We get those here. And half the bottles you get when you're drinking soda pop or beer will say Ball. And it's a ball. It's fun. Huge company. Okay. I got to get it together because I made excuses for last night, which was valid. It was valid because I was sleepy and I had worked over 8 hours and it was a hard day of work. It wasn't bad like it was a bad day of work. It was just hard. It was a lot of challenges, which we were able to accomplish the goals, but it makes you more worn out than you think, So I was like, now today I don't really have an excuse because I'm not tired. I slept well. I just start talking and think, and I'm blah, 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 and I'm not thinking straight because it's just like a fixation in my mind. If the product's older, it's been on the market longer, I'm thinking it's the main brand. But the main brand is the Knob Creek. That's what this series is. Knob Creek versus everybody else. Was the Utah Jazz originally the New Orleans Jazz team? Yes, and I went to a game there. I went to see the New Orleans Jazz one time with the Webelos, which is the transition between Boy Scouts and Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts. But it was fun. I mean, it was a lot of people there, and had a lot of action. And then we were excited because they said on the announcement, they announced and put on the video screen, if the Jazz score at least 100 points, everyone with a ticket stub gets free French fries from Popeyes. Not an amazing thing to eat. French fries from Popeyes, Louisiana kitchen. But when you're 10 years old, it's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. So we were all cheering it on, like, come on. And then I think they scored 110. And it had all those famous players, like you would see all these famous players and you recognize them from television, like Pistol Pete Maravich and other people, the guy for the Supersonics who had that headband. And so we were like, it was exciting. We had free tickets because I don't know, some kind of promotion where all the Boy Scouts got free tickets. Cub Scouts, you know how that works, like some car dealership sponsored it or something like that. And it was good. But then I was so angry the next year when they moved away. The owner apparently never wanted to be in New Orleans. He wanted to go to Utah. So seems he was plotting to move all along. A lot of these owners do that. Anybody ever heard of the Tampa Bay Rays? Blah, 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 blah. But anyway, it was right after New Orleans elected their first black mayor. I'm thinking like he was thinking, this is me thinking this. I can't prove it. He was like, a black mayor? Let me get out and go to a white paradise known as Salt Lake City. Now, it sounds terrible, but kind of happened that way. So anyway, everybody was so uproariously angry. And naturally, my favorite team is the Pelicans and whoever plays. My second favorite team is whoever plays against the Jazz. Anytime they lose a game, my day is a little better. Pistol Pete, great player. He was on the Jazz in New Orleans, yes. And then everybody was upset when he suddenly died of a heart attack in 1988. But he had this heart trouble he didn't know about, a hidden heart defect. Horrible thing to happen. Tom, you say, well, do you have a hidden heart defect? I don't know. If it was hidden, I wouldn't know about it, would I? Do you want me to listen for the silent E? Okay, Tom says thumbs up. Yep, the best college player in history. Yeah, he scored more points, and he only played 3 years. They didn't count the freshman year back then, remember? I've seen Pete's last run in Boston Garden when he was on the Celtics. Oh, yeah, right after. Yeah, at the end, because he had some feet problems, physical injury. Was it really injury, though? It was like just some chronic problems. But, that happens to a lot of these players. Yeah, the knees. Yeah, it happens to a lot of players. Sad. I know Walton. Walton had those same problems. He died recently. Great player, but you get these chronic problems. They just don't go away, and they don't get better. And you got to give it up. Got to stop. Okay. Yeah, with the feet. That's right. He had the feet. Okay, so I got to make a dedication to never screw this up again, but I probably will, but I hope I don't. So there's no really, honestly, so far, there's no confusion between the Knob Creek and the other ryes I have. It's easily discernible if you don't screw up the labels. And secondly, but I wouldn't need labels. I mean, you're never going to confuse this. You could do a blind taste test. I'm doing that, but nah, you're not confusing it. Everything else I have is 80 or 90 proof. And Knob Creek is blowing them up. Let's be honest. You say, no way. No way Knob Creek's better than Sazerac Rye. Well, it is better. It's easily better. It's not even really close. So every other rye whiskey I've put into competition has not competed. They don't measure up. Sorry if you're a fan of some of those products. I can't help that. But they do not measure up, and they cannot hang with Knob Creek. So is Knob Creek clearly better than the rest of the ryes I have? Yes. Will it defeat the rest of the ones I'm bringing into competition? Ezra Brooks, don't stand a chance. The one I have. Winchester, no hope. Alberta, George Dickel Rye, nah, he ain't gonna win. Plus, it tastes like weird Flintstone vitamins. And the Templeton Rye, nah, won't win. Will not win. Will not win. I'm telling you, it will not win. Now, what about these Canadians that I've got? Alberta Premium Rye. Nah, that usually doesn't win even against other ordinary stuff. Uh, and Canadian Hunter Rye, known as Hunter Rye. Nah, it's okay. I like it, actually. I do like it. And I got it for a great price, $11.99. What the heck? No chance. So you say, well, I'm not going to even watch the videos because you're going to just feature a bunch of blowouts. Yes, that's true. Jack Daniel's Tennessee Rye, no chance. It's not even made anymore, so forget about it. But nah. No way, no way, no way. You did a good job, Sazerac Rye, but you didn't stand a chance. So does Knob Creek wipe out all the rest in my collection? Oh, yeah. It's not even really a contest. I call it a challenge, but it's not challenging, you know. So the king of my collection is Knob Creek. I could just discontinue the rest of the contest, but I'm gonna play out the schedule. I'm gonna put everybody else up against Knob Creek, but it's just gonna be set up and knocked down like bowling pins. You know, Jack Daniels killed, Winchester killed, Ezra Brooks killed, Templeton killed, and so forth. So no chance. Last comments and I'm out of here. When was the last time you had Ezra Brooks, Steel Reserve 8%? Oh, about a year ago. I had one 2 days ago, like Steel Reserve. I like it. I finally found one place in New Hampshire that had Ice House Edge. Yeah, we don't get it here in Louisiana anymore. That Jack Daniel's Tennessee Rye had a real strong flavor taste that I didn't like. I still have 2 bottles left unopened. Uh-oh. Get all those rye players in the game for sure. Yeah, they're coming in to the game, but I'm just telling you what you're going to see. Like I say, if you don't watch it, I'm not going to be offended because you're going to see a defeat, a defeat, a defeat, a defeat, a defeat, a defeat. Or if you look at the other way, a victory, 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 victory. Nah, no way Knob Creek's losing. No way Knob Creek Rye will lose these challenges. It cannot happen, and it will not happen. All right, y'all take care. Bye-bye, everybody.